All right. Good evening. How is everybody doing? Oh, look. See, I have these lights, and I usually have it right over there. So the thing will, that little orb in the background. There it is. It's gone. I've got them all over the place here. All right. Yeah, when they're at the right angle, too, as well. It's just like, right in my eye. But it lights up the coffee, and the skull's really nice down here. And, of course, this sits right in front of me. My little Eddie Van Halen guitar sits right here, and it's lit up like the stage. Oh. On this little guitar stand. It's pretty cool. So, hey, wow, we go live here shortly. Rob Potter's on the show tonight. Yeah. Oh, man. Today as I'm, Rajan, that's funny. Yeah, thanks, Rajan. Yeah, there you go. I got a couple of phone calls and some email today about the phones, that little, the thing with the cameras. And yeah, everybody telling me they've been experiencing the same thing. It's pretty bizarre. And I still don't know what to make of it. And I appreciate everybody's comments about maybe we should do some weird tests on the phone and maybe have a contest and let's see what's going on with that. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. Somebody suggested today it was the Facebook app. If you have a Facebook app on your phone, that it's always active and listening. So that was one thing to consider too. But yeah, okay. So tonight, Rob Potter is here. We're going to discuss Cosmic Ray's excellent Venus adventure and some other stuff. Rob is great. He is up at Mount Shasta, so it'll be live from Mount Shasta. And then tomorrow night, of course, is Fader Night, open lines all night long, and very excited. Okay, so there we go. We're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go.
Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. Today is Wednesday, June 13th, 2018. 163 days into the new year, just 202 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south. far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Tonight, very excited. Rob Potter is back. And tonight, that's right, tonight, he's going to share with us Cosmic Ray's excellent Venus adventure. That's right. And a whole lot more. And he just got back from South America, another trip down there, and he's got some messages for us. And we're going to go through all of that tonight with Rob. He is a great guest. He's also a radio host. You know, he's out there doing his thing and speaking at events all over the place, and a well-respected member of this community for decades. Rob Potter is here. It's going to be a great show. Tomorrow night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live, followed by open lines all night long. And now I think we're going to open up the phone lines a little bit later with Rob, so get ready for that. And so just get ready. It's going to be a great night. I spent my day today over at OnStellar. I did yesterday, too, as well. And you can go and send me a friend request. We have everything over there. We have, of course, I'm there. We have a Fade to Black page over there. That is great. You can go and check that out. We have our Game Changer page. Rita has her page. And a whole list of other hosts and researchers and authors are over there. George Norrie is there, of course, and David Icke, David Wilcock, Corey Good is there. I can go on and on and on. But all of your favorite researchers and authors are there. So go and register completely. It's a social media network. It's the next great social media platform. So it's just like anything else. All you got to do is go and register. The difference is this has its own token economy built on the blockchain, and we're moving out of the beta phase here shortly, and we'll be introducing the blockchain and getting going. But when you go and register, you will be given tokens just for registering. Okay, so if you register, you get 10 tokens right there. You have a wallet. And then if you use my referral code, Jimmy, when you register, you'll get a bonus of 15 tokens. So you'll have 25 tokens in your wallet to hit the ground running when everything kicks off here in a couple of months. Okay, and right now, everything is cool. Everything is running. We'll be adding video channels here shortly. A couple of other features are going to be added over the next couple of days. And, of course, I'll keep everybody posted and in front of that news as it happens. But onstellar.com is where it is at. OnStellar, OnStellar.com. And I start the show every night with that because I used to say Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, which you can, of course. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That is a very simple thing to do, at JChurchRadio. And then I would say Facebook and YouTube. And then I would say everything is Jimmy Church or Fade to Black. Things are changing. Things are changing around here. Yes, we are winding down on Facebook, still posting over there a little bit because I'm just trying to let everybody know what we're doing over here on not only Fade to Black and Coast to Coast, but what is going on at OnStellar. So that's what I do. And there you go. Now, I'm not anymore, and I get them all day long. I'm not accepting new friends over on Facebook. I'm watching it dwindle, too, by the way. But it just wouldn't be cool, right, to accept a friend's request when you know that you're shutting your page down. That's a whole big bowl of wrong. So I'm not going to do that. And YouTube is back. We have gotten control of our YouTube channel again, so we've got it back. I posted yesterday for the first time in a couple of weeks, and we uploaded again today with edits. Okay, now we have to edit certain content out of our show. Can you believe it? And that's exactly what I was supposed to. What I enjoyed over at YouTube was taking this show, unedited, and archiving it forever, right? That it would be up on YouTube forever, and anybody could go and listen to any show as it aired with commercials, everything in there, unedited. You know, and there's an ethics thing involved there. I can say with pride, dude, that's the way the show aired. You know, no edits. Can't do it anymore. I don't dig that kind of censorship. But we have, 60,000 subscribers over there that depend on that channel, and that's where they access the show, and I get that, and I don't want to let go of it. I don't want to let go, but man. Okay, so that's what we're up against. Censorship. You know, the man. Well, it's going to be fixed here shortly, and we'll be moving all of our archives, everything over to OnStellar. And what we're going to do with those 60,000 subscribers, I'm going to tell them all to go to OnStellar from YouTube. That's all I can do. And we'll see how long those videos, so once everything is complete and I don't care, and I've sent the message out to everybody on YouTube and I've got that done, that's it. That's it. I hate to do it. I mean, it represented something so cool. There was a time, when YouTube first launched and you were able to go over there and see the craziest stuff. Just people that just had to get stuff out. They had something to say. And no matter how crazy it was or how fun it was, whatever, right? Well, it's not that kind of party anymore. That's not it. They want to tell everybody what to do. And that's not what creativity is. You just can't do that. One of the joys of Fade to Black, this is one of the joys, let me be very clear, is because Rita and I, the two of us, and only the two of us, own everything. Lock, stock, and barrel. We own the names. Everything is trademarked and copyrighted and done and finished. We own it, right? So, because of that, I don't have the threat or the thought or the concern of somebody telling me what to say, except for Rita, of course. But nobody will, come down here to the bunker and knock on the door and come in and go, dude, you can't say that. Nobody's going to come back to me the next day and say, hey, we're going to pull your show. No, we own it. We own everything. So I can say what I want. And now that doesn't mean I step out of bounds. That doesn't mean I use bad language. That doesn't mean I do, that's not what that means. But it is freedom of thought. So whatever I want to get out, whatever it is that I need to express, whatever it is that I need to say, I can just say it. And I don't have any issues. And that translates and comes through this studio and this microphone to you. I am just being me. And that's what YouTube represented. That's what it represented. I could just be me, and others could just be them and themselves. And it's not that kind of party anymore. And it feels constricting. It feels strange. And trust me, for me, I'm completely offended by it. So with that, in a few minutes, just a few short minutes, I'm going to bring Ronnie McMullen in here from Life Change Tea. And again, somebody that has been out there for a long time trying to make this world a better place. That's Ronnie's thing, too, as well. So we'll get to all of that in just a second. I do want to let everybody know what is going on. Our next big event is Disclosure Fest, and being put on by Disclosure Fest in the California State Parks. And it is the Mass Meditation Initiative in downtown at the Los Angeles State Historic Park, 35 acres, a huge list of great speakers and presenters, one of which is yours truly. I will be there, and it is a totally free event. All you have to do is go to disclosurefest.org, register to get your free tickets. That's all you have to do. It's 35 acres, vendors, food, a couple of stages, film festival, 35 acres. It's just a wonderful, bring the family, bring the kids, bring the dogs, bring the pet, just show up. It's an absolutely huge, ginormous mass meditation. It is just a crazy fun event. So we'll see you down there Saturday, June 23rd. And then after that is our Soul Tech Gathering up at ECETI Ranch. And it is going down this August 9th through the 12th. We do have some tickets left. It's very close to selling out now. And soultechgathering.com. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on the banners. It'll take you straight over to soultechgathering.com where you can register and do everything that you need to do. Corey Good is going to be my special guest. He's going to be hanging out Friday and Saturday. We also have James Gilliland's going to be speaking, Jason Quitt, Matthew Ryan, Michaela Sheldon, Teresa Yanaris, Holly Marie, Mary Gabrielle, John Lund, Dana Harvey, and Laura Cantu, and others too as well. Billy Carson. I'm trying to think. All of this is done by memory. We're going to be teaching. We're going to have 5 classrooms out on the Field of Dreams. We're going to have a Sunday night party on the Field of Dreams, and we're going to bring in food trucks, and it's just going to be one of those things that you're not going to not want to miss, but you will create friendships and memories that will last a lifetime. And I know from my trip up at ECETI what I left with, and I want all of you to share with that experience. ECETI Ranch, August 9th through the 12th. And then a week later, August 17th through the 19th, a week later, I'm going to wing it out to Boulder, Colorado for Dimensions of Disclosure, and Loveland, Colorado, actually. Corey Good's event with Corey, David Wilcock, Emery Smith, Teresa Yanaris, Gerald O'Donnell, Jordan Sather's going to be there, and 20 other speakers and presenters. Just go to dimensionsofdisclosure.com. So we've got a very, very busy summer. It's been busy all the way up until now. And as you can see, we're keeping our foot on the gas, so it's going to be great. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have 870 archive shows, just $2 a month. You can also become a Fadernaut over in our membership section of the site, where you can get the bunker cam. Hello, everybody. I'm waving to you right now. You like my parade wave? That's my parade wave. I practice that. That's pretty cool, huh? Are you guys shooting video? Go ahead, post the video of my parade wave. You like that? Yeah, you get the bunker cam, you get a private email to me, you get commercial-free downloadable archives, and if you get the Game Changer, you're going to get autographed shirts and hats and all of that stuff that are exclusive, too, by the way. Those hats are only available to Fadernauts. They're not for sale. You can do everything you need over in our membership section of the site. And don't forget all of our sponsors. Of course, Life Change Tea. Ronnie McMullen is here. River Moon Coffee, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Manna Food Storage, Bearing Optics. All of their banners are at jimmychurchradio.com. All of the promo codes are right there. And that's how this show runs, from our wonderful sponsors that have been with us forever. Really quick, I want to get this out. I want to say happy birthday to Weezer frontman and shredder Rivers Cuomo. Today is 48. Stellan Skarsgård today is 67. You know, Thor, Avengers, Melancholia, Ronin. Tim Allen today is 65. Star of Galaxy Quest, one of the great documentaries of all time. And there you go. Now, on this day in history, in 1983, Pioneer 10 left our solar system, our first interstellar outer planetary probe. That's right. And then the next day, it actually sent back data. Oh, there you go. My parade wave. You guys are quick. I am going to I'm going to steal that picture. Thank you for posting that, because I look about as goofy as possible. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great face shot, too, as well. Well done. And here's our Fader fact. The world's oldest known creature, a mollusk, was 507 years old until scientists killed it by mistake. I'd like to welcome back to Fade to Black from Life Change T, Ronnie McMullen. Ronnie, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man.
You make it to 507 years old, and then you get knocked off.
It's a cruel world.
Yeah, it is, man. It's a cruel world, man. 507 years old. Imagine the wisdom that mollusk had. He had seen things, man. 507 years old. Does that make it? He was around when like Da Vinci was painting, right? Oh man, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh man, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Man, it's always great to hear your voice. And each night on the show, Ronnie, when I mention Life Change Tea and our sponsors here, and I think about how this show is supported and how we get the knowledge out. You've been with us for a very long time, and not only that, but you've changed my life. And I want to thank you for everything that you have done for not only myself and Rita, my friends, my family, the team here, Fade to Black, but all of the Fadernauts. And the respect is mad respect and mad love. And you've been with us. So, unfortunately, Ronnie, you can't leave. So that there's a plus and a minus to everything, but thank you for everything that you do, my friend.
You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave.
I know, right? I used to live next to Hotel California, and a couple blocks away, right? And it was so funny that every single time, every day, sometimes a few times a day, be in my car with a couple of friends, we're driving down the road, somebody in the car goes, dude, there it is, Hotel California. Yeah, I know, man. There it is right there. I know, I see it, and then I would catch myself doing it, driving down the road, got friends in the car. There it is, man, Hotel. Yeah, we know. But yeah, it was right there on Cahuenga and Fountain. Franklin, not Fountain. Fountain's a block down. Franklin.
Is it still there?
Yeah, of course it's still there. Yeah, it's right there.
I haven't been to LA in a while.
You haven't? Well,
No.
you're going to be here. I'll take you to Hotel California. It's not what you think, man. It's not.
As long as the guys come out and start singing, I
know, right? I know. It's funny that you bring that up, though, because it's such a fixture of Americana, right? 5 o'clock drive time in Los Angeles. Hotel California on the radio. I mean, it's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed. And along with Crosstown Traffic by Jimi Hendrix, but that's another story. But it's just such a part of Americana, and I had it in the neighborhood, and it got old. You wouldn't think that it would, but it did. So you've got some new stuff going on over there at Life Change Tea.
I do. And I'm having a heyday over here.
Well, can we talk about the tea first?
Yeah, let's do it.
How do you improve the tea?
You don't. It's that good.
Yeah, you.
Okay, we're done with that one. Okay, next.
Man, that's pretty cocky, Ronnie. But you're right.
I know. No, it's actually just confidence. We get people and they love the tea, and my new tagline, especially for my race car and everything is Life Change Tea, get the tea.com, the tea that makes you go.
Is there?
And you can take that any way you want.
You can.
I was meaning it. It makes you go because you're going to have so much energy.
Yeah, it makes you go.
But you can take it any way you want to go, and of course, it will fill all the blanks. So it's good.
Yeah. The tea it is your number one product, I would assume.
It is. Allison and the colostrum are right in there too, and then of course I have a new product coming out probably about 4 weeks out that I am so excited about. It's for people with glucose problems, and it will change your life. And it's awesome. It's a new tea, and it's not a super tea. It's a new tea that will change your life if you have glucose problems.
So do you drink both?
Yeah, because one does the tea that makes you go,
right,
and the other one, I got to be careful what I say, works on your blood. How's that?
Okay, it works on your blood.
Yeah.
What's the active ingredient? What's the herb?
Oh no, I cannot say that.
Oh man!
Cannot say that yet. What are you asking me these questions for?
Yes, I know. Because there are forces beyond our control that we're all aware of, and it's called Big Pharma and their money, and there is pressure around the country for any natural path that somebody wants to take for something and to pursue. There are forces out there that don't want to, and the next thing that you know, they're going to be saying that herbs, from the ground, right? Herbs that are illegal, or will
they're moving that way with CBD.
Well, they're moving that way with CBD,
absolutely.
but across the board too. Any natural.
Think about this: Federal Drug Administration, FDA, right? How come they're federal drug and they're looking over supplement companies that has not one drug in their whole office?
That's right.
In their whole warehouse. How does that work?
That's right. And when we have talked over the years as one natural doctor after another disappears or is offed, jumps off a building, just crazy stuff, right? Killed by a stuffed animal, and you hear these over and over again. Now, I'm not suggesting anything here. I'm just aware. But it seems like you and myself and others, we actually have to watch what we say now.
Oh yeah,
because those claims, and I don't see anything wrong with it. It would be something else if it was snake oil, right? And you were putting something in a bottle, like they used to sell out of the back of covered wagons, right? In the Wild West. Selling whatever, Uncle Bob's,
right?
Whatever they used to
99% alcohol.
Yeah, right, and heroin.
That's why they never complained.
Right, cocaine. But yeah, exactly. But that's not what this is. A whole other thing, and they know that things are being fixed. I was listening with a healthy herbal remedy. I was driving down the road the other day, and I was listening to a commercial in the car, and it was for a seminar. I don't want to get specific here, but it was a seminar how to reverse diabetes.
Yeah.
Right? Now, very selective in their words. Very so they couldn't make any. You can't, and I can just see Big Pharma flipping out. And losing their minds over this kind of stuff, because think about the money that they make on diabetes medications. Oh,
it's like in the top 5. But what's interesting is when something comes out that says reverses diabetes, it's really BS. I'm not saying you cannot reverse diabetes, because that's not true. But it's not to the rate of, if you put in diabetes reversal, you'll get 495 websites, and 494 are full of crap.
Right.
So, and they're just wanting to sell their stuff. And when I see, somebody just wanting to sell their stuff and, okay, buy this book and you can reverse diabetes. And I trust me, I bought quite a few of these books, and everyone is a liar. In fact, most of them that I have bought, and I've bought probably 20, most of them won't even lower your blood sugars. In other words, it won't even take down anything on the dial. And that's irritating.
Right.
So
right.
Let me tell you, my new tea, Takedown Tea, I'll just leave it to the discretion of the person that buys it to see what it does.
Right.
I'll just say that.
Right.
Takedown Tea. It's a great tea. Take it down off the shelf and you drink it.
All right. There you go. Do you have any specials going on?
Oh, yeah. For you guys that are having problems with your tummies and you forgot the colostrum issue, you forgot to do it, We got the mocha, we got the chocolate, we got the vanilla, and it's all on sale, kind of a super sale, you might say. And you get 2 weeks of tea for free, and plus you're getting a good deal. So it goes on sale for $85 for the whole 1 pound bag. So life is good, and that'll last you quite a while. If you just take it on and off, it's, but it's for those of you that are kind of jacked up, you're going to want to take it pretty healthy for
Yeah, I do. Rita and I, we do the colostrum and the tea every day, and it's what we do. We do it right before, right before bed, or, right after the show, and that's our regimen.
So what's your favorite? What's your favorite flavor? I might have asked you this before.
I like vanilla. I like the mocha. Yeah. I like the mocha. No, seriously, I like them all, but the vanilla is it's amazing. So there you go. I came and went, as you know. Ronnie sends me the stuff, right? So I've been going back and forth, and it's all good. But maybe it's because
the stuff.
Well, maybe it's because the vanilla was first. Right?
It could be.
Yeah.
You're a vanilla nut. Yeah. I think you're vanilla.
I'm a dark chocolate. I'm a mocha coffee drinking fiend. But the vanilla, I think it's because I had it first. I wouldn't know if I didn't have it first. So that's my thing. But they're all good. They're all good. I've tried them all. They're all great. Well, does that include free shipping? If they use the promo code?
Yeah, just use a promo code Fader, and you'll be good to go.
So you're good to go because you're going to get the colostrum and the tea and free shipping, and it's on sale.
Yep. And it's on sale because usually I have that going anyway, and it's usually on a sale. But when I do those things, I kind of put them on more of a sale.
Well, thank you for that, Ronnie.
So you save more, and then of course getting free shipping. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, there you go. Ronnie, you're the best, my friend. And thank you for that. The Fadernauts love you. And
I love them.
Oh, we know.
Wait till you see the takedown tea. I'm just going to say, you just got to try it for yourself.
I just want to know when you're going to.
Can you tell I'm excited? I'm interrupting the host.
I know.
Something's wrong.
I know. But okay, that's fine. You can interrupt me because you're going to be putting the Fade to Black logo on your race car. That's all I care about. Ronnie McMullen, everybody. Life Change Tea. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Behave and be well.
Thanks so much, Jimmy.
There you go. Colostrum, 2 weeks of tea, free shipping, on sale. Life Change Tea. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, I'm going to get out of here because Rob Potter is up next. It's Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA. The Planet. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at getthetea.com? A lot. But by federal law, We at GetTheT.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheT.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. GetTheT.com. GetTheT.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at KGRAradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Matthew, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Very simple. Come hang out in the sandbox. Hashtag F2B. We'll burn through 2,000 or 3,000 tweets tonight. And if you really want to see what that is like, to see 3,000 tweets go down during a show, just go check it out. It's pretty amazing. The conversations are really cool. And any questions or comments that you may have during the show tonight for myself or Rob Powder, hashtag F2BQ. And, of course, we have both chat rooms are open and active. And hello, everybody. And on the cameras, how's everybody doing? It's great to be here tonight. We've had just a great, amazing week here on Fade to Black. A couple of programming notes. Tomorrow night is Fader Night, open lines. John Rappaport's going to be here with his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by open lines all night long. And then I will not be hosting over at Coast to Coast this weekend. That's right. I've done it all month, plus Contact in the Desert. We've done 30 straight days with no days off, and Rita and I are going to get to this weekend and enjoy ourselves. Of course, Sunday is Father's Day, so we'll be over with our family and hanging out and doing that thing, fire up the barbecue and hang out with all the fathers that we have in our family, which means the nieces, the nephews, the grandkids. Wow, Rita, we don't have any great grandkids yet, do we? Technically, we don't have any grandkids either. It's the other grandkids that will be there, but it's just amazing because the family is growing. And we're up to about, I'm going to have to defer this to Rita. I think when we get the family together, the head count is around 22, 23 of us. And we all live within a few miles of each other right here, the entire family. So we get together. We get together a couple of times a month. And this time around, it just happens to be Father's Day. More than likely, we would be getting together on Sunday anyway, just because that's what we do with our family. All right. Tonight's guest is Rob Powder. He's been researching and healing and dealing with consciousness for over 40 years. That's a 4 and a 0. He has given seminars all over the world, including in Egypt, Canada, Europe, and the United States. And he's got his radio show, over on Pyramid One Radio, called The Victory of Light. He has been experiencing UFO contact since 1975. He was ordained into the Royal Order of, are you ready? Melchizedek. That's right. Through the Venusian commander, Valiant Thor. Rob also was very close to Dr. Frank Stranges, who wrote Stranger at the Pentagon. Why all of a sudden am I tongue-tied? I'm tongue-tied because it's Rob Potter. He was the personal assistant and good friend of Dr. Fred Bell right here in San Diego from the age of 16 until Dr. Bell's death, and he is currently working closely with a fellow contactee, of course, named Cobra, to prepare people for the event. At 22, Rob was invited to the desert by the ascended Master Hilarion via Gabriel Green to meet a teacher. The teacher was one of the ET's original early military allies. He experienced his first physical contact with 3 witnesses present. We talked about that the last time that Rob was on the show. Subsequently, Rob met several ETs in person. Rob has done many radio newspaper interviews, travels around the world sharing the profound aspects of the ongoing process we know as the interplanetary cultural exchange. His website is The Promise Revealed, and I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Mr. Rob Potter. Rob, good evening.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you read the entire bio there. That's pretty cool.
I edited. You see, this is the thing. I edit and write, and put my own words in. So, and it's you, man. You've got me all tongue-tied. And that doesn't happen often. I've done 1,000 shows. And I can tell you that this audience doesn't hear that too often. But there you go. Welcome back, man. How are you?
Very good. It's great to be back here. And we've had an amazing year. Lots of information coming up and being shared with the world. And a lot of people need to process it. I have just returned from a third trip to Bolivia in about a year and a half here. And it was an amazing experience down there.
Well, how long did you spend down there in South America?
This time we spent 3 weeks, and I was learning quite a bit more information in regards to the history of the South American, I guess we call them underground groups or whatever, Garthan Network, and, of course, the Confederation bases and the preparations that are going on down there, and the history of that are quite interesting.
Well, how do you make contact when we are talking about underground civilizations and situations? This audience, we talk about this often, but it's another thing to take the next step and go out and find out about this information to make contact. Are you able to do that?
Well, I have been in contact throughout my life in various levels and various times, and some more closely than others. The way that I'm making contact now is I'm working with several contactees, as I've always worked with contactees throughout my life. My own information and my own kind of mission is supporting other people's contactees that I have checked out and vetted for my own personal experience as being real and having positive information. And of course, I've been working with the famous contactee Luis Mostojo Fernando Martins. They have 4 names down there, but he's been very famous. He briefs the governments, and he's had multiple experiences beneath the earth in what is called the Abbey of the Seven Rays. Can I tell you the history of the Abbey of the Seven Rays?
Absolutely. I'm here to learn.
Okay, it's called The Origins of the Great White Brotherhood, and Lemuria is the name for the last part of the Pacific continent called Mu, and the actual destruction of Mu and its submergence started about 30,000 BC, but it was a series of final cataclysms between 12 and 10,000 years BC that it was destroyed. And it was destroyed. It went underneath the surface of the ocean there right before Poseidonus, the last part of Atlantis, went down. So both of these went down. It was known for a long time that this would go down. And there was one of the great sages and teachers of the Lemurian peoples was they called him Lord Muru or something, I think is the name. Or let me look at the name here. I think I've got some information on that.
And Lemuria was in the South Pacific, right?
Yeah, well, basically covered from Australia all the way up to Mount Shasta, literally parts of California into Nevada.
Right.
It was a very large continent, and most of it was submerged. In the farther northeastern part where we're at, here in Shasta, that this ancient Lemurian was seen to be stable. There's some other information that's come out from the books there. There's a gentleman named Brother Philip. He wrote some books, and his real name was George Hunt Williamson. He was present at George Adamski's first meeting with the Venusians, which is going to make this story tie-in be very interesting. But he tells us that Lord Meru came and bought the golden disk of the sun. Now, we've heard about the golden disk of the sun in our ancient mystery schools in Atlantis and in Egypt. It's always pictured as a sun or a circle with wings. Mm-hmm. The Sufis use a heart with wings. So this represents the golden disk of the sun, which is it's kind of like a neural network connection, a multidimensional connection to the central sun, where the galaxy and what we would call the administration of the universe monitors the life streams on the planets. And what happened was the Earth's golden disk of the sun was misused during Lemurian times. And they moved it from Lemuria, it went to Atlantis. And Atlantis, again, they misused it. They were supposed to be using it to enhance the life streams on the planet, but there were certain elements of negativity within some of these priesthoods that were entrusted with this technology that they abused it. And actually, the Ark were DNA repositories by various Atlantean patriarchs of the time to create DNA repositories that could survive the cataclysms and the sinking of the continents that they knew would happen. Now, Tiwanaku in Bolivia, now sitting at 12,000 feet, used to be a seaport. And at the time of the cataclysm, it was pushed up very quickly. So a lot of changes happened very quickly back then. But in order to maintain civilization and the teachings, the Atlanteans and the Lemurians that knew about this had been preparing for a long period of time and had been building underground networks underneath the oceans, and basically they divided the planet up into 12 sections. And so they have remained underground there. Now, they are not related to Kari and that group. That's a different group, and as far as I know. But this is the group that is known as the interior government of the planet. And when the Galactic Confederation has a base, there's always one of these Earth-based Great White Brotherhood or Brotherhood of the Seven Ray lineages of these ancient Lemurian underground cities that had to escape the cataclysm of the radiation and destruction, or kind of the mongrelization of humanity. And it was prophesized and planned that in the future, when mankind's prepared, that they can bring forth once again the teachings of the conscious management of consciousness and energy. And so with my friend Louis Martens, we have been asked by the guides, who he is in telepathic communication with, and because of his physical experiences of repeated contacts with witnesses being taken inside these various temples, similar to Mount Shasta or Mount Adams or other what they're called inner retreats or confederation bases. He's been into many. He's been to Venus, and he has his own unique story. And they had told him and me to gather people together to join down in these tours, what they call the Journey to the New Shambhala, because in 2012, the cosmic energy of the planet was shifted from the Himalayas of the masculine vortex into the South American vortex, which is in the vicinity of Lake Titicaca and also the volcano known as Sahama. So these underground networks of these, let's call them kind of really kind of hermit type spiritual beings, have been waiting to come out and communicate with us openly as friends, as neighbors. But it's been a long time coming. And so now they are actually making overtures to the public through people like Louis and others to begin to develop the conscious management of your own auric field in certain retreat centers where they are present. And if you make the journey down there and get the ticket and make the effort, they are watching the group. They show up physically in sightings, and then you can actually feel some of the energy things that they're doing. So is this just drinking the Kool-Aid and taking it all in? Jimmy, I'm going to say, no, this is part of a spiritual aspect of the contact experience.
Sure. Rob, I'm going to jump in and say there is something going on, and you can go and experience situations like this at different points around the globe, and certainly down there with Tiwanaku and Pumapunku and Lake Titicaca. I would think that those temples and those monolithic, megalithic constructions are there to mark something too as well. And there's got to be amazing magic that is going on. Oh, I wanted to say this, and then I want to continue. Do you think that in this day of political correctness that the Great White Brotherhood should change its name? I mean,
Yeah, you know what? I often say Great White Brother Sisterhood because it's actually both.
Right.
But white is because of is a symbol of purity.
Well, we understand that. Oh,
yeah. There's multiple races of the entire planet are involved in it, as well as the cosmic galactic family too.
Well, I know, but for a guy like me to say, hey, let's go check out the Great White Brotherhood, it doesn't even roll off the tongue right.
I hear you.
Yeah, it feels a little strange. You might want to consult. Maybe you can get the board of directors there together and think about that. And you have to think of all of our brothers and sisters in this community too, as well. And think about that. But anyway, okay. So moving on. I mean, I was just sitting here thinking about that in the front of my mind. I was like, man, it just doesn't feel right saying it out loud, So anyway, back to Pumapunku and Tiwanaku down there, where you've got, of course, you've got the magnificent temple, and you've got the doorway, and then a quarter mile away, you have Pumapunku. Technically, it's the same site. I mean, it's all there, but it is on the shores. And at one point, you're absolutely right. That was a port. The shoreline came right up to the edge.
Yeah, it's amazing. A lot of earth changes and a lot of things we don't know. But the gentleman, George Trent Williamson, who wrote the book Secret of the Andes, The Golden Disk of the Sun, back in the 50s, was invited in there, and there was a famous woman from Mount Shasta named Sister Thedra, who also went down there, who's related to the other Venusian contactee, Raymond Keller, who was just absolutely wonderful. He's become one of my best friends and just an amazing person. I've been guided to share that right now there is a lot of information on the political aspect of disclosure. People talking about aspects of the finance of the secret space program, of the government's involvement, of the current government's plans for this and that, and the Tom DeLonge and the false flag alien invasion and all these different things that are going on. I want to bring it back to a real simple thing without any distraction. This is about realizing and waking up to the fact that there is intelligent life in our solar system. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the Venusians, the natives, the Martians, and of course there's other life in our solar system too of a higher dimension. But we are the three physical planets with native life here. And it's they've had a long time of interaction with us, and the Earth is a part of the evolutionary scheme of the solar system. And they have kind of, people talk about ascension. You want to hear a short version of the Venusian form of ascension? What happens?
Sure.
Okay, so the souls are allegedly that they're just created, or they begin from evolution type of thing. So if a soul starts from the creator and somehow finds itself in our galaxy going through the Milky Way and it decides to land in our solar system, it's going to land on Neptune, Pluto, and the other planet, and it's going to begin to learn to develop a form, a basic consciousness, inhabiting a rock or a lichen, very basic consciousness for millions of years. And then the soul will evolve onto Saturn and Jupiter, where it will develop an astral and an etheric body. And when it's evolved beyond there, it goes to Mars. And they live, most of the native Martians live underneath the planet, and they're very kind of mechanical, physical. If we were to live there, we'd feel like we've done it before, because we have. Then you land on Earth after you've incarnated on the other planets, then you begin life cycles on Earth. And you'll go through a series of incarnations, what they call the path of pursuit, where you're going out to experience everything in the physical plane. You want to try everything and taste everything and to know and to experience the world. And unfortunately, with the lack of culture or maintaining a continuity of civilization for any period of time due to the cataclysm, destruction, and mankind's own negative thinking that brought about the destruction of its civilizations in the past, we don't have a root basis understanding of who we are, where we come from, what is the nature of our soul. So these types of things have to be reintroduced into the populace through the science of self-realization and through the nature of truth. And this day is coming soon. So what's happening now, folks, is that there are many different forays to come into your consciousness to be aware that we have brothers and sisters from other planets, and all the technology stuff will be explained later. But basically, they're brothers and sisters, they're friendly, and they love us, they love God, and they want to help us to stabilize ourselves through balancing our consciousness and our thinking. And a lot of this will be helped when they reveal these ancient records and repositories of the history of the Earth, that we can put this into position. But mankind's not quite ready yet. We're almost ready for that release. But preparations are being made now for this to come out. And so that's part of what my life has been about, is to share this plan with humanity, to kind of, it's to reconnecting to our ancient, ancestral, natural, authentic self, and blowing out all of the programs and negativity. So what I found from these masters, because I get telepathic communications sometimes on my own, but Louis is very accurate, and he gets very specific communications that are, making suggestions and so forth that I think are very positive information for me to share with people, that this transformation of the planet is about your vibration and your consciousness and your state of being.
Well, let's. I've got to take a break right here, Rob, and we'll pick this up when we come back. But really quickly, last week, NASA had their big announcement and press conference about finding organic material on Mars. Now, of course, we've all known this for quite some time now, but for them to make the announcement, is this part of the preparation?
Well, I think the government's got their plan of preparation, which never a straight answer, or NASA, or delay. It doesn't matter. The real revelation is the truth and the fact of what's real. And whether people see it or know it or not, there's millions of beings in spaceships hovering about the Earth now, waiting for this curtain coming down aha moment to let humanity choose for itself to become worthy of the information that can be shared without destroying it and destroying themselves. You know?
Yeah, very interesting. There's always something going on. Things are never what they seem. You know, they just never are. For that announcement to come out, I think for us, we knew it all along. But the rest of the world, they must have really, really freaked out on that one. Our guest tonight, Rob Potter. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. We're going to continue this discussion when we come back. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out! That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly Ancient Life Oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Rob Potter. And tonight we're going to talk about Cosmic Ray and his most excellent Venus adventure, and we're going to jump into that right now. And Rob, when you told me about this is pretty cool. And as you know, I've been studying and researching one of my favorite people on this planet, and that's George Van Tassel. And everything, I have gone back, Rob, over the years, and I have listened to all of Van Tassel's Rotary Club meetings. You can find somebody magically recorded those, and they're amazing to go back and listen to. But I've studied everything that went on out there at Giant Rock, and his group of friends that was around him all of the time. Just something happened out there at Giant Rock. So tell us about Ray.
Well, Raymond, I met through another friend of mine, Frank Schilly, who was a close friend also of Gabriel Green, this old contactees from the 50s. I have a Giant Rock commemorative that's on my website, and I think I'll post it. I'll share it with you, but it shows all the pictures of the old days. It's put together by Bob Short, and he gave it to me for my conference this summer. By the way, my conference this summer is called From Venus with Love. And so with that in mind, my friend introduced me to Raymond Keller, who is a very famous, actually, UFO contactee amongst the old school old guard, because he's been around. He's older than me, and he was in the Inquirer at 15 with his own UFO experience. He was researching, and he's been a writer and has had probably 4 or 5 UFO groups. He's a member of the Community of Christ. He's just an amazing guy. He's lived in 44 countries, speaks several languages, and he was in the military. He's a historical researcher. He's a PhD. He's very well connected, and his story is we started talking, and I talked to him for a long time, but he is one of the kindest, gentlest, sweetest, humble, and adept guy. We share a lot of the same experiences of being considered the nutcases for years, and now getting a little bit of respect from people because the information for some people is panning out. But he told me that Gabriel Green introduced him to this woman, I think it was back in 75 or 76, and I met Gabriel within years of that. I was having an experience, but he's had so many different experiences. He's written these 3 brilliant books. Look him up on Amazon right now, folks. Raymond Keller. The first book, Venus Rising. The second book, Rockets to Venus. And these 2 books go into the entire history of Venus in every, religion, form, ancient sites, everything that you can hear, possibly imagine about Venus is covered in these books, especially all the scientific misinformation from the government, what they're claiming, the other Russian scientists' reports counteracting the Earth-based ones, the names, the lies, the changing of the gravities, and all that kind of stuff. It's very well documented, as well as the historical relationship of Venus. And as you progress along into the third book, he's had some amazing, very, very close encounters and profound contacts with the Venusians, and he's actually sharing with us a certain aspect which he calls translation, which we could call ascension as well. So just an amazing a series of experiences. I could tell several of them that would just whet your appetite for when you really talk to him. He's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. When did he must have been very young, right? How old was he with his first set of experiences? Was he in his teens?
Yeah, just a second here. Sorry, hold on here.
Is everything okay?
Fuck. Oh. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What happened?
The thing muted by I had it on mute. I'd like to be careful, and the cursor wouldn't click. But yeah, what happened was he had started having these experiences. He had a deep desire and a hunger for the truth and following it. And he actually has past life situation relationships as well that could be talked about in that relationship. But he, let me tell you one of his experiences. He was in 1987. He was told to come to Mount Shasta. Remember the harmonic convergence?
Yes.
Okay, well, everyone was up here in Mount Shasta. I think it was shortly after that there was a person who told him he knows where there's a vortex on the mountain. And he had, through some of his other psychic contacts, been told to go to Mount Shasta. So he came up here, and this 94-year-old man led him up to a certain area and pointed him in a direction on a trail. And on this trail, when he got there with I think there was, I want to say 5 women. Don't quote me on it, but there might have been one other man. And they got up to this area, and there was a woman in a silver spacesuit. And she was appearing there, and it was kind of like there was an energy portal. And she started talking to them for like 2.5 hours. They had asked all the questions they wanted from her up near this tree underneath. There's a vortex up there. I think I know where it's at.
That's right. Everybody's been looking for that vortex. Have you been getting close to it?
Well, there's one in Red Fir Flat. And Ascension Rock, and there's an area where a lot of experiences. Paula Harris had some. This guy, Raul, a friend of Louis, who's been leading meditations up here, had his own experience. He's taken pictures, and there's been other phenomena reported there, and also on Red Sand Flat. And then, of course, this one up in what is called what's the Squaw Meadow up there.
Yeah, last year when we were up there for the eclipse, I was asked if I wanted to head up and go look for the vortex with a group of people, and I couldn't get away. I was doing the conference up there, but I would, Shasta is a very special place. There's no question about it, and I definitely want to go up there and see what we can find too as well. Lots of expeditions have been up there, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's definitely real things that happen here. There's some historical stuff I'll be sharing at the conference. Erlene Cheney went in the mountain. There have been people who've been having real encounters and meeting people because there is a great mystery and I'll have to say a great spectrum of life, and there are actually little interdimensional fairies and elves and trolls and those kind of things. Without going really out there,
that's not out there, man. I've seen them. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. If you were going to, compare, it's really strange because you have Rainier, you have Adams, you have Shasta. There's a lot of active volcanoes up there and mountains, and Shasta being one, and of course Mount Adams. Mount Adams is another magical place where these things happen. What do you think is going on? I heard you mention Lemuria. That's an interesting connection, but there's something magical.
There's a network. It's an organized network of underground civilizations that have been underground since Atlantis and are preparing to interact with humanity and to hopefully safely assimilate us into a higher vibration without conflict and without fear. So we're preparing for that. We're waking up, and the information's coming out, and the internet, and people are finding the truth. I want to go back to Raymond's experience here, and then we're going to fast forward to another amazing series of experiments that's just going to blow your mind. And if people want to read about him, go to my website, The Promise Revealed. You check out the blog, and if you go back for 2-3 months, he's posting articles, and I'm getting exclusive releases with them to the world. So you can see a lot of his articles that he is researching other aspects of spirituality and this quest to understand Earth's relationship to Venus and open contact with extraterrestrials.
Right.
So he's on the mountain now. They're talking. This woman's in the sin. She says that her name is Lady Aurora. They like the name Aurora something, but she was actually said that she's in Sirius, that the Venusians had petitioned Sirius B to be able to have an outpost there. And they had built these great longhouses from the giant trees there. They were building these like Indian-style giant longhouses. And she was involved in that. And they could see some mantis beings that looked like they were on the mountain in the snow behind her. And they said, are those mantis beings, what are they doing here on the mountain? Da, da, da. She said, oh, those are the beings that live on Bellicor. And you're just seeing them. They're behind me in this dimensional doorway. So Raymond's really opened my eyes to some of this amazing stuff. So we find out later, through his research, there was a woman in the Mormon church named Annalise Guerin. She wrote a series of books called The Pearls of Great Price and some others, very beautiful metaphysical spiritual treatise on consciousness. And she had been ostracized in the church because she was talking about the role of women in the history of the church and what the Smith father and son had taught, which was being denied. And they, of course, excommunicated her from the Mormon church, and several bishops went with her. But the story is she appeared to one of the bishops before she passed away. She was 83 years old. And then shortly after that, she translated, and she appeared to him in like a shiny sphere, which is called a nimbus. She had translated, and she was resurrected, and like her teeth were all, she was young again. So we have an actual eyewitness to a modern day ascension of a female here, and this is coming through Ray's research here. So now let's fast forward. Raymond is having various experiences throughout his life, and one day he's in China in 2012. And the woman that Gabriel Green had introduced to him to is called Dolores Barrios was her name.
Oh, the queen of outer space.
Well, she's the queen of Venus for a period of time right now.
Right.
And her history is very interesting. I guess I can weave these two stories together. First, let me tell her history. She was born in the Basque region of Spain in 1385. And her family put her into a convent where she was slaved out from 5 to 15, and she decided to run away and to follow her brother, who was a conquistador, into South America. So her plan was to go to Barcelona, see her grandmother, and head out. And on the way, she found herself in a barn, and an angel appeared to her and gave her the gift of immortality. Before she left Barcelona, she confessed to a bishop that she had run away, but an angel had given her this gift of immortality, and she left. Well, she makes it to South America, and I don't know the timeline or how long she's there at this point, but she is found out that she's being dressing as a man, and one of the conquistadors tries to rape her. Well, she kills him in a knife fight and seeks sanctuary in the church. And it takes several years, but the Pope, with back and forth, we killed someone, she's in the church, can we get her? No, you must respect the church. Finally, she got to go after 3 years of conversing, she got to go back, and the Pope said he would judge her. So she gets there and she tells the Pope, and the Pope says, well, I actually know the bishop that you confess to, and I believe it is better that I believe you than to doubt you. So she continued in her mission kind of as a incognito conquistador for the light. And she had a cadre of soldiers and women that would appear whenever the conquistadors were abusing women or doing something wrong with the native females. They would protect them. And she had like a little special forces thing that would just appear and do stuff. So let's fast forward to 1946. She's moved all the way up the coast. And all of a sudden, I don't know if it's the same master. I don't know anything about it, but they say, it's time for you to come to Venus now. So she goes to Venus, where she learns all the science and the technology of the Venusians. And at this point, she was, 1485, 15, 16. She's like, 400, 500 years old or something, right?
That's right.
So, or 600 years old plus. And so now she goes to Venus, and she's still working missions to Earth. And guess what? She was the first contactee with George Adamski. Raymond's released this information now, and this is very revolutionary and groundbreaking, because George Hunt Williamson, who witnessed it, also there's some things that are going to relate to this that we're going to be revealing at the conference. But the picture was a blonde-haired, looked like a guy holding a little ball, and one of the artist's conceptions of the meeting there. But there was a security guy inside the ship, and there was also a cigar-shaped ship nearby, and they had security around for this first contact. And she contacted him, and she said, well, tell everyone I'm a man, because they won't believe, the highest degree a woman can to aspire here in 1952 or whatever it was is a missus. So she continued her contact and support of Howard Menger, and there's another series of pictures that are showing up at these ancient giant rock locations of all these pictures where these extraterrestrial women are appearing and walking incognito amongst the people of Earth.
Did Dolores, did she show up at Giant Rock? Are there any pictures of her there?
Actually, there is. She showed up in Long Beach in '54, and people. He'll be sharing information probably on your show if you have him on, about one of the situations where the. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but
we were talking about her being photographed at.
In '54, she appeared in Long Beach, and people kind of sensed they were different. She showed up with two guys, and she goes, "Well, these are my roommates. We lived together in Long Beach, and they were Redondo or something." And people started thinking things. They looked different, so they kind of made a hasty exit, and they went down the hill. And some people tried to follow them, and they disappeared, and a swarm of bees chased them away.
Well, you're not talking about Phil and David Moran?
No, maybe. I'm not sure of the names, but they're pictures, and they're all on my blog. If you go back, you can read these articles.
Right. Okay, so, she was, with my reading over the years, she was just somebody that I was just fascinated with, but there was so much distance going back to her original photographs and stories that were out. We're talking about the late 40s, that I couldn't grab on anything recent about her, but I read everything that I could. I remember her being called the Queen of Outer Space. That's my memory.
Huh. I'm not sure. Actually, Raymond knows that lore inside and out. He was connected to Hynek, Moseley. I mean, you name it in the UFO field, Raymond has correspondence with them. He's very, very humble, very kind, and a very gentle man. And his information is really, really taking leaps and steps forward, because Valiant Thor came out and he didn't announce he was an extraterrestrial, or we found out later. But now they actually appeared in Pittsburgh. We'll get to that story. But let me finish up the story with this Dolores Barrios. So he's in China, and bees figure prominently in the Venusian ancient history. So he's in China, and there's a bee on the wall, and he decides to go into the bee bar. And Dolores Barrios, that's one of her names. She changed her names, and she'd move every 20 years, of course. She loves Brazil, and that's one of her safe houses when she comes to Earth and stuff. So he is in there, and she comes in. Hi, they have a nice talk, and they're chatting. I think he said he had a beer. And she's walking him back to his room, and she goes, would you like to go to an ascension party? And he says, sure. So she says, I'll pick you up tomorrow. So in his room, she gets there and she takes him to the top of the roof, and she has a little ball, a little sphere. It's called a nimbus, and it's an aspect of the higher self, and they can use it to travel in. You don't have to have a spaceship. Like Valiant Thor doesn't even need a nimbus. He just can dematerialize and come and go. He's a different level of being. But she had to have this technology, and so, but she steps up and this little sphere appears, and Raymond steps into it with her, and they start heading towards the Tibetan plateau. He said it got cold, and she raised the temperature. So they're going up to the high mountain plateaus of Tibet, and they're coming to an area called the Lake of Demons and the Lake of Angels, and is there sometime in the ancient past where there was a spaceship battle between the forces of light and darkness. And as he said he was arriving there on these two lakes, he could see thousands of nimbuses descending.
Wow.
So he said that this was the Venusian contingent on Earth that was invited to come to go to this ascension party, which he now finds out is going to be on Venus. So he and Lady Orta descend, they get out, and they see, before they land, they can see over in the valley beneath this lake plateau flat area where everyone's landing. They see Victor 1 Valiant Thor ship, and they see a cigar-shaped ship to transport everyone. And there was a Tibetan monk tent up, and there were prayer flags, and out walked the woman in a silver spaceship that he met on Mount Shasta, Annalise Scarron, who had translated and was now living her life on Venus and in service up there. So we have this amazing story here where we're hearing about the science and technology of ascension, which is not necessarily something to get attached to, but the mystery of death is that, according to Luis in the South American information of the consciousness and the Venusian, is that the idea is to raise your vibratory body until you can develop what's called a solar body. Luis Martens talks about this. So you become a solar being, and then on Venus, after that, you can go to Mercury, then to Vulcan, and eventually the highest graduation for ascension in the solar system is the sun. Now, I don't know if you go through different solar systems and then you start your life as in consciousness in different areas, but that one aspect I took you through from a virgin soul that starts as a rock on Neptune and ends up as a solar sun being, however many long incarnations and developmental periods, that's kind of one of the aspects, is to learn and to grow, because life is eternal. So I want to go back to this very cool story. So now he meets a lady who was the Mormon woman here in the spaceship. They talk, they hug, and they go up to, I think it's called the City of Azure. It's a physical third-dimensional city on the surface of Venus, and they have a lot of cloaking there. So we wouldn't see it. There's all kinds of different aspects, I think, to the atmosphere as well. Raymond can answer these questions. There's also an astral plane, like Omnek, who's coming to my Mount Shasta summer conference, the woman from Venus, was born on the astral and became physical. They also have other cities where they're interdimensional. So they get up there, and he called it the Zither Dome, and it was this giant dome. He described it. I was very enthralled and still am with the story. And there were 13 large chairs in front of different sections of the audience. And in the center was this rose nimbus. And they were there to celebrate the ascension of the reigning queen of Venus. And they have a queen who either remains the queen after 6 years for another 6-year cycle, or she ascends to the central sun. Now, this is what Raymond told me, and I don't know all the details, and I don't want people to speculate too much on this other than to take this story for its face value. I believe it's absolutely real. I have absolute faith in Raymond, and I'm a pretty good judge of the real deal. So you can read his books, and I hope you'll interview him, but check this out. So he's up there in the dome, and all of a sudden, angelic beings start descending from through the roof, higher dimensional beings. He said they looked like they're 20 feet tall, and they had these huge, iridescent, multicolored angel wings. And as they descended, they got smaller. I don't know how big they were, but they lost their wings and they became physical humans. And there were these representatives of the higher dimensions there to honor this Queen of Venus for her selfless service. And he said they went through a series of her lifetimes and her compassions, her lifetimes on Earth and on Venus and everything she had done. And then she came out in this beautiful resplendent regalia, and she got inside, she waved goodbye to the audience, and she got in her nimbus and left towards the central sun. Well, it really gets interesting here, and this is where we are invited in, actually, to the higher councils and understanding the inner workings of our sister planet through the grace of Ray and his story. But Lady Orta is now proclaimed the Queen of Venus, and with the coming changes, it makes perfect sense that they would have a woman who was born on Earth, had hundreds of years of experience there, and then was now being trained on Venus in the higher sciences and technologies to be able to administer the responsibility of her office. So she invites Ray to stay up there for 2.5 months after this ascension. So in 2013, he lived on Venus. And they have access
2013.
That's right. This is wild stuff, and it's going to get even wilder, but it's so cool because Raymond is so genuine. He has such a great sense of humor. He's very matter-of-fact about it.
Well, let's take a break right here. There's a lot to talk about here when we're dealing with not only the Nimbus, the dome, 6 years, that ceremony going on here in the Himalayas in Tibet. Pretty fascinating stuff, Rob. We'll continue this conversation when we come back. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Rob Potter. We're talking about cosmic rays. Amazing Venus adventure. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi folks, what can I say without making claims? CBD is truly the buzzword for health. What does it do? Government institutions will not allow me to say what this wonderful oil does for us. But I can say it's non-GMO and organic. I can say it's 0.003 THC, which in plain English means you won't get high. There are those that want to squash your freedom to buy natural products. Fight back with your purchase power. In the end, it is you that takes care of your health. Go to ancientlifeoil.com. One more time, ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Twitter's on fire right now. Unbelievable conversation I'm having with Rob Potter. And Rob, before we continue, are you on Twitter?
No, but I looked it up when you mentioned it, and I was going to download. I mean, maybe. What are they saying? They got a question for me?
Oh, I've got. Yeah. No, it's great. It's a fascinating story, and I just posted up. There's very few pictures of Dolores out there. There's a couple. I've just posted one, and Raymond says that he's got 3 pictures of himself with Dolores.
Oh yeah, he's on Twitter with you?
No.
Oh yeah, he's got.
I do my research.
He's got this one picture. Let me finish the story. So he's up there, and then we'll get into his.
Well, yeah, let's go back to 2013. So she gets made queen. She takes and she invites him to Venus. He's there for 6 weeks.
For I think it's like 10 weeks.
10 weeks. Okay.
So he's he asked to see the Akashic Records, and the Akashic Records are beneath the ice caves for the entire solar system, all life on Pluto, and they have access to it from Venus. Venus is the primary physical dimension planet and in charge of the whole Jupiter portal and what takes place in our solar system. If they want to do things on Earth, they have to talk to Venus, and they have to talk to the Great White Brotherhood of the Shining Ones, not Khari and the Omegans. This is the other, what is known as the interior government of the post-Atlantean and Lemurian groups. So there is an organization, and they've been working very hard with these plans. And we can go into the esoteric nomenclature of, the Lords of Flame and initiation for the Earth and all that, kind of this grander evolution we're told about. But here we're getting first-rate physical eyewitness experience of the down-to-earth nature of our neighbors. So he's up there, and he talks to, they call them the chrononauts or chronos or something, that they watch the timekeepers, and they watch the time lines, and if anything happens, they have to appeal in the higher dimensions, and they interfere. The Watchers, as they're called, can go back in to change things if anything gets too out of hand here, while this area of space is under quarantine, kind of cowboys and Indians right now, as we know. So they said, you know, we don't normally give Earth people, especially those going back, access to the Akashic records. And she said, like, I could just see it. She said, you know, I'm the Queen of Venus, and by God, you give him access. And he found out his previous lifetime was Virgil Publicus. I think it's from Greco-Roman era, where I think he was a contemporary of Dante, who talked about Venus as a lady in the shell and related to the ocean and fertility and that whole history lore of our ancient relationship to Venus. And he actually reveals part of it in the future, and I can talk about it in a second. But let's go back. He's up there. He gets access, and he's been able to access some of his own previous lifetimes, as well as some of the history of Venus. And I'm not going to get into this story, but it involves a German Nazi who was sent on a suicide mission, who didn't go and ended up landing on Venus in the past time period. I'm going to let Raymond tell that story. But so now he's up there, and he's saving all these stories for the final book, which is coming out, and I've been able to pry a few of them, and I can't tell too much. But he did. And it's in this other book. It's actually in Cosmic Ray's Excellent Adventure, which is this is phenomenal, and it's going to stretch a lot of people's minds. Never talks about time travel. Well, Raymond has a real experience of time travel. She said, let's go. I'm going to take you back in time. Where would you like to go? And he said, I'd like to go to that place. I think it was in Fullerton or something, when you spoke in 1954 with the two guys. And she goes, that's too dangerous. I can't go back and be seen twice or see myself there or whatever. And he goes, okay, well, let's go to Giant Rock in 1954. So they're coming in to Giant Rock. And before I tell this story, you should know that they had contacted a guy named Truman Bethram, who was a road worker. He had a hard physical life of, physical labor. And they asked him to watch all of the nuclear experiments and anything and let them know, because it was important for how the ships are traveling with the nuclear energy in our atmosphere is destroying the tachyonic membrane when they travel. So they were doing that, but they did not notice that in 1954, at this particular time, that there were going to be fluctuations. So here is Ray and Lady Orda, the newly installed Queen of Venus, traveling in her personal Nimbus over the Giant Rock community at night, and it's all going to start the next day. So all of a sudden, the Nimbus starts to break up, because he told me that they travel at absolute zero. And so it becomes fragile, and when it hit the tachyonic membrane and the disruption of the atomic experiment that was existing in the atmosphere at the time, it crashed their ship. I go, oh my God, what happened? How high were you up? And I'm thinking, what could possibly happen here? This thing cracked, and they're crashing. It's just 1,000 feet. So I'm going, oh my God. So he's coming down, and Lady Orda, with her Nimbus, created a soft, like magnetic cushion for them to land on. They landed safely. They were witnessed by two people, and they kept their contact secret, gave them other clothes, and they pretended that they were from Earth. He made a reference about something, and she looked at him, so he had to continue that they're ETs. He couldn't talk about the time travel or anything. So, and they actually, the word got out at the end of the convention, and there was a guy that did interview her, and I think they took her picture, and Raymond probably has that picture and can share it with you from when they time traveled back.
Wow.
Also, the cover of the book has a picture of him that was taken by the people. He was wearing a black sweater, and it looks like a 4-petaled flower that's kind of turning. That was the symbol on the bottom of her shoe. And that is not a Nazi symbol, as Michael Salla thought. But it is a symbol of the Venusian Space Command type of thing. So that's what that symbol on the bottom of her foot was. It was not a swastika. It had nothing to do with the swastika. That's pure conjecture. So Raymond is revealing a lot of things, and he has the evidence, the physical proof, the letters, and everything to back up a lot of this stuff. So we see in the Giant Rock commemorative, there was a giant light in the sky, and people looked up, and the authorities came nearby, and they cordoned off the area, and they managed to burn all parts of the Nimbus before, and they had people tell the story that it was some college kids lit off some fireworks.
Right, I remember this. Yeah.
Okay, so this started in 2013. So whatever the timeline is from 2013 till now, and there is a tremendous amount of other information in regards to some of these Venusian contacts. And Raymond has some other things and some secrets there. I'm going to tell you.
We'll come back to this in just a second. Okay. Did he tell? Okay, Venus. There are some astrophysicists and physicists that describe Venus that it is very livable up in the upper atmosphere. That if we humans went to Venus, there's plenty of oxygen. We just got to, live in balloons, right? And we would be up in the upper atmosphere. Down on the surface of Venus, it's 600, 800 degrees and poison gases. Where do they live there? And where was Raymond? Was he up in the clouds or was he below the surface? How did they survive there?
Okay, all of that, he goes through his first two books, especially in Rockets to Venus. You can read about the lies that are coming out of NASA. You're getting more truth with Russia and the Eastern Scientific Group. Russia is very open about it and much more open about their space program. But he was on the surface. The atmosphere is breathable. He says it's only 1/3 of what we have because it's more hollow there. He can tell you there's also a relationship between the Aurora Borealis of the Earth and the Aurora Borealis of Venus. They're connected. There's a relationship in terms of portal and traveling there. So there's a tremendous amount of information that is not true. And a lot of this stuff, when I was reading this stuff, he has a very pop cultural reference. One of the ladies who told the story and was able to reveal it after that, she said, you can talk about this after 5 years. So they kept it secret, but they took notes of their hiding them in their car and giving them the clothes and all that stuff. And they said that they gave their notes to Otto Binder, and he created Supergirl. Mm-hmm. So Raymond's very connected to Richard Shaver, Raymond Palmer, Mark Probert, the Ethereum Society that was witnessing the contact with Eisenhower. He has a tremendous amount of contacts, and he's very soft-spoken. And the story is that he, I think he had a heart attack after he came back from Venus, probably from missing it so much, but he decided he better tell his story, so he cranked out these 2 books. And he released them last year in June, about this time, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Lady Orda couldn't be there, so she sent 2 emissaries down. Okay, so now we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at a little light community out in the forest there, probably 60 or 80 people maximum. And Raymond's releasing his 2 books. And there's a guy there named Bear, or Forest Bear, something, whatever, and he said he saw a flash of light. And he goes, "Who's that? Who are you? What are you here for?" And they said, "We're from Venus, and we're here to congratulate Cosmic Ray on his 2 books."
You were there?
I was not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There are pictures taken, and you can see them in my blog. You're going to have to go back. And while you're going back, folks, you're going to see these 2 pictures of the women from Venus, and each of them have a unique story, which I can tell as well, which really helps us to understand the nature of life, ascension, consciousness without making it a mystery and so difficult. It's just the pragmatic reality of the nature of life and evolution of consciousness and where we're at on the planet now. These stories are being bought out, and the evidence, the fact that they announce themselves is very bold, is a new level of contact and a statement that it's time that people start opening their eyes a little bit, and not to worship them, or just to understand that there's possibilities for interplanetary cultural exchange and growth, and to lead us into an era of peace and prosperity, utilizing their universal economic system and other aspects of this relationship. But they were wearing these little uniforms, kind of a black.
Yeah, what month? What blog? 2018. What month?
It's in. Just go back. Let me see. I'm on my website now. It's going to go back. I got so many articles of his.
Well, I mean the one with the two ladies from Venus.
You have to go back. I'm sorry, I don't actually know. I'm going to say try March or February.
Okay, I will try that. Continue.
Okay, it might be April, but actually there's a link on the email that I sent you to that. So you have these two women there, and they're announcing this. So Raymond was very excited to meet them, and when they showed up at the same time, a black limousine with California license plates blacked out, and a Persian man got out. And there's pictures of Cosmic Ray standing next to Bear in the foreground on the left, and in the background you'll see the two women from Venus, and just a partial element of a guy's face, and that was the security. So they were there, and they were wearing these raspberry berets. And on those berets, they have a pin of a bee. And now I'm going to take you back to some Corey Good information that's kind of going to dovetail here and might make sense for some people. There's been life on Venus for 33 million years, and they've been interacting with us. Well, about 25 million years ago, a group from Alpha Centauri, their planet, the atmosphere is blowing off, and they appealed to the native Venusians to move to Venus. The native Venusians were bee people, and they said yes. So they're called the Norcans. And this is the group when Corey was hung like a fish on the line by Gonzalez and the Mayans to get that vampire being.
That's right.
They went into a little cave afterwards, and they had to explain their actions to the Norcans, to the different insectoid races and some other races that were there. And they read their minds. They told the story a couple times, and then the next thing you knew, he's home. Those are the Norcans. Those are actually Venusians. And what happened was there was a group, and we probably remember this from the ancient Vril technology. The Vril technology was misused by a group. They had this very advanced technology that was advancing throughout the solar system, and some of the groups that had it were using it and abusing it against some of the other races. And one of them came to Venus, and they decided to splice the genes of the Norcans with the bees. So now, to make them workers for their conquest colony in the food production. And what happened was a meteor hit the planet, the dust went up, and it destroyed them, kind of like the War of the Worlds scenario. They died. And so now you have a leftover remnant of human bees that have been spliced against their will, and they're living kind of in terror from, it's kind of a prehistoric type planet with very large wasp and stuff, and the wasp had driven the bees underground. So anyway, there's another story there with time travel, but let's suffice to say that at the 17 million year mark, all of a sudden some beings were born that were able to attain their solar body while incarnation in one life on Venus. They call them the Lords of Flame, and they were part of this evolutionary jump for the solar system and stuff.
Now, can I post this picture of Lady Aurora and Lady Columba?
You can.
Okay, I'm going to do it now. Go ahead, continue.
So let's go back to Lady Aurora and Columba. So now Raymond's there, and Lady Columba, Lady Columba is the blonde, And Lady Aurora is the Indian woman. And here's their story. Again, feminine ascension, translation, not dying, not resurrecting, but kind of not like Jesus where you show yourself, but sometimes people who resurrect in this form do that. Raymond calls it translation. So it's not maybe fully ascended master, but it's translation to the next dimension of existence, and it's corporeal, physical. So those two ladies, the one on the left, the blonde, was born in 1902, and she was from America, and she moved to India in the Andhra Pradesh region up near Rishikesh to work in a Christian socialist movement to bring about rights against the caste system and various, cultural backwardness of the Indians that was being worked on by some Christian groups. That's sometime I imagine in the 20s. Now let's go back to 1880, and the dark-haired Indian woman was born in 1885 or something, and at some point in her life, she was a Sherpa guide for the East India Company. She was working in the areas above Rishikesh and Hardwar near Badrinath and the Valley of Flowers in the higher elevation of the ashrams of some of the masters and saints up there. And she came up on the trail and she saw a guy that was sickly, and she stopped and she nursed him back to health on the spot for 3 or 4 days, and I guess walked him down the hill for like 7 or 10 days. And well, it turns out he gets to the bottom, and like the guy, the angel in the barn says, "Actually, I'm a master. I was testing you. You have great compassion. I'm taking you with me to Venus." So she at some point went to Venus and continued her work on Earth, where she worked side by side with the blonde woman in the 20s in India. Let's fast forward to the blonde woman through the 50s. She's working for Truman Bethram, one of the UFO contactees at Giant Rock, as a secretary. In fact, she was having her own contacts. And when she landed with Ray, she said, I have a story to tell you, and I've written a book. She wrote the book. Most of it was written in her life on the Earth, but she died before printing it. So she handed him the book. She had written 4 more chapters, and she said she had been having contacts of her own, although she wasn't public. She'd had experiences and been taken up in the Venusian to some of the council meetings. And we're going to release a picture, Raymond will, that she drew in 1950 on a council meeting on the cloaked moon of Neith. Guess this now. In the picture, you see the Ganesha being with the kind of elephant trunk. You see bee peoples. You see little smaller dwarf races. You see some larger beings. And guess what else you see? You see a blue avian.
No.
You do, with the long nose.
Wow.
And now Raymond says that, and according to the information from the Great White Brotherhood, the Blue Avians are not the elders. The elders were a Cyclopean race from 1 billion years ago. And there's evidence from the records that some of them were here to watch over the Earth until a future time, and I guess some of that has changed in the 50s. But that's speculation, and I don't know. I wouldn't say the Blue Avians are the elders, but they definitely came in and shook things up and said some stuff. So we know that that group has also been working on the cloaked moon of Neith, which is not seen. This woman went there and drew the picture. They all look happy and friendly. It's not like a creepy outer space show. It's like friendly space beings smiling for her artistry. And she wrote this book and she handed it to him, and the 4 extra chapters are, get this. So I don't know, and Raymond's got so many dates and space people contacts. He's like, Louis, you can't keep them all in contact or track of them. But he said that she handed him the book and said, here's some other pictures. And before she died, about a day before she died, a master that she'd known from Venus came up to her, took her DNA, and downloaded her brain memories into some technology. She died like a day later. She went to sleep and woke up on the Clarion, which is the moon on the back, the Venusian base on the backside of the moon. And she said the master had rainbow light coming out of his third eye, his heart, and his two hands. So now this woman is resurrected. The other woman you see there was born. She's obviously, by living the pure life and according to God's laws, has abundance and prosperity. She was born in 1885. So now we have two women, and if you count the Queen of Venus, that's three who've been on Earth. And if you count Annalise Guerin, who was translated and witnessed in her nimbus before she ascended from an old person. The bishop had seen her, and then right before she ascended, she appeared to him. So we have 4 women now who've been through these experiences, and we're giving them all to you in the honor of the Divine Feminine and the summer conference from Venus through Ray.
Yeah, and then of course you have all of Van Tassel's contacts when the ships landed there at Giant Rock, including the first night.
Yeah, with Solanda. Now, interesting. I'm going to send you a link. It's available on my thing. If you guys look in my blog again, it's going to say "We Are as One." That is a link. If you go there, there is a documentation of books of George Van Tassel. We have 20 or 30. A guy named Orv has put it together, an incredible documentarian of audio and video files. And he has got MP3s where he takes entire books, scans them, and you can hear them read to you. You can hear George Van Tassel's, all of his. I have a catalog of his stuff, of Gabriel Green, of Long John Nebel. There are so many books in there from the early contactees, and it's all for free. I have a 1,500 person slideshow. So I'm going to tell you guys one last thing that you can check out with Ray. And I asked him if I should share this with you. I shared it on the page and no one noticed it. I slicked it in there. But in one of these articles that Ray wrote me, he told me that they've given him his own Nimbus. It's a security device for him. If anything happens, that he can utilize it to protect himself. And I don't know all the terms of it, but one of the things it does is it can make him invisible.
And he's got a video, right?
You got a video, and you go back, and I kind of just stuck it in there. It's like a picture of him sitting at the desk. And I just said, we decided to release this.
Okay, so, well, let's. I've got to take a break right here. Send me the link, and then I'll get it up right away. But
okay,
yeah, that's really cool that we can actually show this. We'll get it up there. Our guest tonight, Rob Potter. I've got to take a break. We're up against a hard network break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Rob right after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Guest tonight, Rob Potter. Talking about, a lot of things, but Cosmic Rays' excellent Venus adventure. We're talking about that. Now, Rob, I just posted the link, and I did watch the video during the break. And what's really cool, the video, Cosmic Ray disappears for sure. Fun video. I'm going to go through and read all of this because I love the shots of Long John. He's one of my favorite all time. He's just the best. A lot, Art Bell just passed away, and we all love and appreciate Art for what he did. But when you go back before Art, there were others. You had Bill Jenkins out here in Los Angeles with his show Open Minds in the 80s. You had, of course, Long John Nebel, and I'm trying to think of Billy, what's his name, out of Las Vegas before Art Bell. I'm trying to think of his last name.
There was George Knapp.
Anyway, with the point being that Long John Nebel, from the 50s all the way through to his death, his show, The Party Line out of New York, was the gold standard. That show was just amazing. And
here's one of the first people who had all those contacts with the original contactees of the Open Mind. And there's a lot of silent stuff. Raymond has all the history of the original people. He's getting Valiant Thor's notes from Howard Menger. I mean, you go back in the archives there. And he's going to be appearing along with Frank Chili, Scott Warner, myself, Omnick, Ralph and Marsha Ring, Louis Martens, and an amazing woman named Genesee Roy here in Mount Shasta at the end of July, 27th through 29th here on the slopes of Mount Shasta. We're actually doing the same place that you guys had the disclosure at. And we're going to be releasing a lot of amazing information. And Raymond's been hinting that we may have something special happening from the Venusians, maybe something special for our group. I'm really hoping people are ready, I think, for the next step in contact in a little bit larger group sighting instead of one person, so that more people can see them. Maybe not in a spaceship, but in a nice open context of fellowship, of just natural relationship.
And you have everything over for your conference up at Shasta over on your website.
Yeah, it's the first link. You click on it, you can get your tickets there. And I used to have it at that Shasta camp. I don't think you came that year when Corey was there with Sala and Laura, but people used to camp on site. But this place, don't let that deter you, because there are beautiful waterfalls 6 miles away from the venue where you can camp for free.
Right.
All over the mountain within 10 miles there. You don't need an Airbnb. You don't need a hotel. It is kind of high season, and it's nice to have that comfort. But if you want to come and enjoy the mountain, spend a couple days before and afterwards, and there's going to be some amazing revelations there. We've got some music events planned, and there's going to be some very interesting vendors there with some advanced healing technologies along those lines that we're looking forward to. But Raymond is a diamond in the rough. He's a gem. He is a very unique individual. When you talk to him, his books are so well documented with footnotes. He has physicists calling him. He has a lot of documentation, and as I said, we're going to be revealing not only those pictures of the woman who was resurrected there into, it looks like a 19-year-old girl born in 1902, and you also have the story of his time travel, and there's other things going on there that I'll let him tell you that make these stories very. I was having difficulty. I said, "Really, is all this?" And he would laugh, and I said, "What are you putting in these cartoon and these pop icon references?" You know, he really likes Lady Gaga, and I said, he goes, we have to lighten the pressure and make it seem, because this is just simple reality, and people have to start beginning to fathom it. It's not like they're so mystical and so sacred and holy. They're living in accordance with God's laws, and they understand God's will, where we have it obscured. Our culture doesn't have the relationship or the wise elders that we respect.
Right. I meant to announce right before the break that I'm going to open up the phone lines too as well, 323-825-5045. I'm just opening up one phone bank, 323-825-5045. Any questions or comments with Rob tonight? I wanted to go back really quick to the ceremony with the Queen of Venus in Tibet with Nimbus. Why, Rob, did Raymond tell you why they did that on Earth?
No. They took him to Venus. See, he had landed on Tibet, and then they got into. He didn't go on Victor 1. That was, I guess, higher dignitaries. But he went on the big cigar-shaped ship, and they went to Venus. And the ceremony was on Venus.
Oh, I thought it was in Tibet. I'm like, why would they do that here?
No, that's where they left from. It was like everyone were meeting at 12 o'clock on Wednesday.
Right. Oh, I got you now. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So he went there and witnessed. And so Dolores did she complete her 6 years?
Well, it's 2012. So
it would be up.
I have a feeling she's going to stay, because we're in the middle of a big transition. She actually sent. Raymond's been on the Jeff Rense radio show a fair amount, and she sent a message. Showed up on his computer. The Queen of Venus in perfect. The recording was perfect. quality. And she said, I'm sorry, can't be there. We'd like to congratulate Cosmic Ray and like to thank Jeff Rentz for on Valentine's Day, the Day of Love. And we want to invite you to the Mount Shasta Conference on the slopes of Mount Shasta this summer. So it's actually, they're making acknowledgments for some of the efforts and interactions.
So Jeff Rentz got a message from the Queen of Venus?
Yeah, I actually, I have it here. I mean, I don't think I can play it for you, but
no big deal, no big deal. But no, I was just asking the question. So it actually, Jeff got it, not Raymond.
It went to Raymond. It went to Raymond, but it mentioned Jeff Rentz.
Oh, really? So they know Jeff Rentz on Venus? Well, you know what? That makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Well, Raymond is just coming out of the closet, I have to say, because I didn't know about him, and this guy is having living 2.5 months on Venus. I mean, he has experiences, and he's keeps everything. You know, he doesn't tell too much or tell too little. He's a little shy. I said, you know, he wants to talk about the atmosphere, and he gets a little nerdy on me sometimes with the science. And, you know, the Venera probe, and they spent this much money, and one of the scientists who worked there said this, and that, you know, he gets into all this technical stuff, and I said, what did you do for the other 8 weeks on Venus?
Right.
You know, that's what I want. And he's kind of saving for his next book, and he has some exclusives, which he was going to release if for your show in particular. He'll send you an article that when you do the show, he will release it. And you can post it on your Twitter, or I post it on my page. He gives it to 3 or 4 people, and we get to promote his stories. And if you watch, we've already got like 40 pages shown of his next book, but he has a lot of other stuff that he's working on. And, you know, keeping him, I love to hear the magical stuff. It catches people's ears. And at the same time, it's not so sensational in negativity or fear. It's more of excitement and hope that our brothers and sisters are really just like us. They want to come out and shake our hands.
What did he eat on Venus for 10 weeks?
That's a good question. I ask because I know some of the Venusians are very strict in the vegetarian thing, and I'm not sure. I didn't really get into that. I've asked that of Dr. Frank, and he says, oh, they say you can materialize whatever you want. I go, what do you materialize? He goes, my mother's spaghetti and meatballs.
Well, if Dolores was hanging out here in SoCal, surely she went to Tommy's. Or she must have gone to In-N-Out. I'm taking her to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, I'm sure she would enjoy that. But and Raymond's the person that you never know might happen. We'll see. I'm very interested because of our experience down in Bolivia. They said the doors are open. Contact is going to move forward until constant contact. And they were talking with Louis about what they call the ulterior preparation. I go, what's the ulterior preparation? He says the preparation before permanent contact. So part of the ulterior preparation is to have these sites where people can go and the teachings of the masters can be irradiated in the dreamtime energetically with the ships over groups that can develop themselves into a sensitivity to develop the life force fields of consciousness. That's what they're aiming for, is to raise human consciousness into peace and love.
Is she called Queen Dolores?
I don't know. That's
a Raymond question.
Yeah, that's a Raymond question, and he's very matter of fact. He's very funny, and when you hear him, you'll just know this guy's not pulling your leg. I thought he was in the beginning, and you know, some of the stories of the Norcans and the bee peoples, and I was questioning it, and I came across the story of the Brusigi complex beneath the Romanian mountains, and they talk about they have this giant chamber room where they have different genetic species, and if you touch the 2 different species, you can see what it'd be like if you mix them. So it seems as though genetically mixing species is part of the galactic history. whether it's right or wrong, and that people had permission, it's been happening. So I think that needs to be discovered and understood by humanity, who, we always feel we're being messed with.
Well, it'd be really cool if she showed up at your conference. That would be pretty special. Or maybe Aurora and Columba will show up. That would be cool too as well.
There might be something more subtle. We'll have to see, but I know the energies are going to be very, very special. I feel this is going to be one of my most powerful conferences in regards to the information and the energy. This is going to be more of experience of the energies, and to learn from Raymond and Scott Warner and Genesee and Frank, and everyone has their own unique personal experience. And of course, Venus.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to ask, before I forget, I was talking the other night on the show about Shasta, and down the street from the conference hall at the main intersection, there is a burger and ice cream shake stand. What's that place called?
I don't know. Frosty Shakes, I think.
Is that what it is? Frosty Shakes? Man, that place is good.
Okay. So there you go. I'm going to try and have some healthy food, but we'll get the food together.
Oh, I know. I'm just messing with you. I mean, but that place was pretty cool, right next to the supermarket. And,
do we have any friendly questions? And anyone got some?
Well, hold on. I've got other stuff we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I want to switch gears to Cobra.
Okay.
Let's talk about Cobra for a second. Last month, this invitation to the inner Earth hit the internet and went viral. What can you tell me about that? And is there an update?
Well, here's the situation, and I've always said it with Cobra. There's a lot of people. There's a couple particularly disturbed Romulans, as Spock would say, who are out attacking. I have the highest regard for Cobra. I'd like to give a couple viewpoints, and I'm not into the following, this and that. And there is a little bit of a cult thing that does happen with Corey. You get these kind of rock star vibrations going now with these people, that people need to stop from the personality and focus on the message. That's one of the reasons Cobra remains private, and also, he says, for security. I think on one level, it's a distraction at this point, the voice and all that stuff. But I've never revealed who he is, and I respect him. He does give posts just about the Bilderbergers and those in control of the elite families of control of the Freemason and Illuminati groups that are controlling the Earth. He just listed their names. So there is an element of security for him. But I'd like to say, can't we all just get along? First of all, the protocols about entering the inner Earth, he was talking about, if perchance you get invited, you will go through a series of experiences. Louis Martens shares the same experience. It's not so mystical and scary. The guides told him where to go. He went to the place on the mountain. There were some extraterrestrials waiting there. They stood with him, and they opened up the door into a portal behind a rock, and he went down beneath Lake Titicaca, and he entered the inner Earth. This is one of the ancient civilizations of the Lemurians, and very closely related to Mount Shasta. Bolivia and Mount Shasta are intimately associated. The entire Cordillera of the Andes, all the way up to Mount McKinley in Washington, and Lassen on the way, as you said, and Adams, are very important repositories of information and actual bases whereby preparations have been made for the coming interface that humanity needs to go through. They understand the psychological issues and the problems here. So there are plans moving forward for this. So what I'd like to say about Cobra is, he's talking about a tunnel. You have to go into a cave if you're going to the inner Earth. Yes, you're in a tunnel. And every single ET contactee, Dr. Frank, Louis said that he goes through, it was kind of hot. It's kind of like Raymond says it was a hot thing. For Dr. Frank, he said he felt it was like walking through mud, kind of a magnetic field where they strip your body of every single virus and nanoparasite or entity attachment that you may have before you enter into one of their environments. Whether it's a shower or whatever, let's not go Nazi on here. Cobra is a human being. He is a very intelligent, high-integrity person, and he is having real contacts. Louis and many other people who have talked about the inner earth or meeting the ascended masters are given a glass that fills up by divine decree of a very high vibration liquid that raises your vibration. So Cobra's had that drink. So has Fred Bell, so has Louis Martins, and other contactees I've known have had this. So this is a part of a process that you have to help you acclimatize to the rarefied vibrations where the plasma scalar fields in there are very harmonious to your body. So there are a lot of triggers. People are freaked out. People don't understand that the inner earth group is benevolent and positive, and our first contact is going to be with them probably before the extraterrestrials or possibly simultaneously. So no one knows the hour, but he was talking about there's going to be some people that may be contacted. Well, there's already people. You got Raymond, you got Lewis, you've got Frank Chili. I mean, I've been contacted to a certain extent, but I'm not having the level of face-to-face contacts of these other brothers, but I'm working in concert with them, and I'm given tasks from their teachers and mentors for me to coordinate and to bring together. So I kind of see myself as a networker and a someone who has a metaphysical background to explain the simple fact of contact and physical communication. We've got to get over this woo-woo. It has to be a spaceship. We have to be scared. They have to leave radiation. We have to wonder what's happening. We're moving into the next level of open contact. There are groups of women, Jimmy, that are being contacted, housewives.
Well,
come out.
I want to stay on this Cobra invitation for a second. The timeline here. When are these invitations supposed to start? One, and two, will we know when people leave?
No, the people that will be chosen to leave, who choose to leave, will probably have to leave for good until a future date. Some will be taken down and groomed. Some may be able to go back and forth, kind of like Cobra, or there's other contactees who are not in the public sector releasing this type of information ad infinitum who are working with the galactics. There are individuals within the military, within science, within finance, within government, within police forces, within various aspects of the intelligentsia of the entire planet who have been having ongoing contacts, some openly, some unknown to themselves, where information is given to them to seed our Earth, to prepare our intelligent, our societal infrastructure, and our consciousness with the basic values and understandings necessary to grow into a fifth dimensional society that can prosper abundantly without all of this craziness going on. So,
well, there's that part, but then if somebody leaves and leaves their family, leaves work, leaves their friends, and just disappears, certainly that's going to go public, and they're going to wonder where this person disappeared to. Or are they going to be informed that this person has been invited to the inner earth and that they're not supposed to speak about it, and we're not going to find out?
Well, exactly. People go missing all the time. And Raymond's going to tell you he's got several researchers who just disappeared, who didn't die, they just disappeared. Sister Thedra and George Hunt Williamson just disappeared in South America. They just all of a sudden, there was no death, no funeral. They are still alive. Valiant Thor was working with a guy named, he used to write books under Commander X. His name was Michael Barton.
Yes.
He was invited. And he also is now, he probably still looks like he's 35, and he's probably 90 or 100 Earth years. George Hunt Williamson, however old he is, I'm sure he is still working in the Great White Brotherhood and is been working with them. Here's another interesting thing from Raymond that you'll hear is, well, let me talk about the Cobra thing first. So all these people, I guess, started giving all these people, what's going on with Ricky Serafico and all this stuff. And Ricky, he's called the Light Sentinel and all this stuff. It's very negative. It's passive aggressive against Cobra. I don't know. I think he just has a personal need to become relevant and important, some weird stuff, and it's such a distraction. People just stop listening to all of the gossip and rumors and just listen to the intel and take it for face value or don't. I can tell you, and there's people, thousands of people have seen Cobra who knows who he is. If you want to know, you go to a workshop, you find out, and you don't have to be a butthead and announce who he is. Respect his privacy. I mean, if you don't, there's some people who don't. But Cobra is very sincere. He's quite psychic. He has a little bit of a secret agent vibe about him and the way he talks and releases intel. I don't always agree some of the intel that he releases and that he says he couldn't before. I mean, I knew about, like, in the 880s, some of it. So I was like, that's not like a secret. And I'm not sure who's telling him it's intel that you can't release at this time or whatever. It does lead to a distraction, the voice and the questioning and the speculation. And people say he died in 2012. No, he didn't. I knew him in 2012. He's the same guy that did the very first conference to the same guy who just finished up a Japan
I met him.
So,
I met him a couple of months ago.
Yeah, you met him at Conscious Life.
Yep.
I had people. He came out, and I think he did a semi-secret meeting with David Wilcock, I guess.
I don't think that happened, but
okay.
but I did. I did meet him. It was quick. We were. I can't remember exactly how it was going down, but I was being pulled in a bunch of different directions.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But nonetheless, I met him back in February, and interesting looking guy. I just didn't have a chance to.
Your general vibe was he's a normal, nice guy. Did you get anything sinister or dark or anything going on there from the initial meeting?
I wouldn't. Even if I did, I wouldn't say anything on the air. I wouldn't, or in the other direction either. That he was angelic and glowing, like No, I wouldn't say anything like that on the air. But interesting. We can talk about that off of the air.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do that here, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think he died in 2012, unless
of course not. It's just weird speculation.
Yeah.
And the people who are they're making stuff up, absolutely, and people are following it. And I was getting all these things, and I was thinking of doing like a video about it, just like, can't we all just get along? Because people like, well, someone in David's camp said this, and I go, well, I don't know, did David say? I mean, let's just not argue and point fingers at each other. We all want the truth to come out, and we have to, use our own discernment. I don't believe, David's trying to mislead people, nor do I feel Corey is, nor do I feel Cobra is. Do I believe every single one of them is right all the time? No, I have my own filter. I'm my own voice and own mind, like Michael Sala. The thing I know that George Adamski is not contacted by Germans and some other things. There's, Cobra said some things that at the time I was like, I don't think that's real, and then that was proven correct. So that was a pretty big statement that he made at one point. So it shows that he's human. We're all human. And we have to give each other a little break and look for the intel. And the different stories are coming from different people. So no one gets a big head and thinks they're the be-all or end-all.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. And I do want to thank you, Rob, for coming on tonight. Fascinating conversation. And all of everything that we talked about tonight, the videos, of course, his conference information, all of the blogs, photographs, Nebel, everything is over at thepromiserevealed.com, and the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Rob, thank you so much, man. Safe travels, and keep rolling that rock uphill. I look forward to having Raymond on the show.
Thank you. God bless. I'll get you connected with him and your audiences who definitely want to tune in and come to the conference. He's got some amazing stuff, and I know you're going to enjoy him. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, Jimmy.
You're the best, Rob, and I mean that. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless, brother. Thank you.
Rob Potter. And again, very simple, thepromiserevealed.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Everything that we talked about, the images, the videos, the books, the blogs, everything is over at thepromiserevealed.com. Rob Potter, the best. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to jimmychurchradio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
All right. right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I want to thank Rob Potter. Great conversation. Lots of information coming out of Rob. ThePromiseRevealed.com. You can go and check out Raymond's video. It's right there, too, as well. I popped up the links for that. And, so there you go. And his conference is at the end of July. I've opened up the phone lines, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. And I'm watching Twitter. It's out of control. Trying to get, everybody wants to know my thoughts on this, and so many different questions. Okay, I'll get to all of these. All right, I'll answer all of these questions here in just a bit. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
Hi, good, Jimmy. How are you doing tonight?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking.
You sound fantastic, darn it. I'm especially fantastic because today I started my cleansing thing with the Life Change tea.
Oh, and, is this your first
I would
time?
recommend. Oh, this is new for me, the Life Change. I haven't had it before.
Oh, have you started drinking it yet?
Yeah, I started it last night, but I'm off work this week, and I remember Ronnie recommending, subtly that you need to, be near a restroom, basically, when you go through the cleansing process.
Well, the first...
Because you don't want to be at work and be running to the bathroom all the time.
Well, it's, and to some point, it's funny to talk about, and we're exaggerating a little bit. But, the first time that you drink the tea, it's because you've been, messing with your body for decades, right? And so the first time through, but after that, it's all good, so that's why I was asking if this is the first time, but you'll be fine. It's great. And you're going to...
And it's nothing extreme. I don't feel weird or shaky or bizarre or anything. It's just perfectly fine.
Right. I double dosed the first time that I did it. I was like, man, this tea tastes great. Chugging it, oh man, this ain't gonna hurt me. Wiping my lips, just taking another glass down. Well, I went overboard, but felt like $1 million. Felt like $1 million, and it tastes good. That's the other thing. It's just great tasting tea.
It does taste good. I didn't quite know what to expect. It's just kind of a light, pleasant. Almost just kind of a light herbal taste, but not strong.
Dare I say fruity? It's a little.
Yeah, or if you're doing the pomegranate properly, it might be a little bit fruity.
The pomegranate's really good too. I'm talking about the original one, kind of almost, but not. This is the thing. It almost tasted like apple juice. And then the more that you drink it, it doesn't taste like apple juice. But I always thought that it had that hint, that just a little of apple to it.
That's a good description, actually.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite. Yeah. I think you're spot on with that. I wanted to comment on two things real quick because I know you got calls. I'm not familiar with any of Rob Potter's stuff, so listening to him talk and tell all these tales. I'm closing my eyes trying to visualize all this stuff, but he kept skipping around a lot. So to be honest, it was hard to follow. But the parts I was following, it literally sounded like he was telling a story out of a space comic book. Because I'm trying to visualize all these things. I'm like, it sounds like he's reading a story out of like a old space comic book. And again, no disrespect or anything. Their experiences are their experiences. But that was just kind of the feeling I got. It was just bizarre because it's not something I'm familiar with.
I can understand that, but if you went back, and I do want to thank you for the phone call. If you went back and if you studied all of the strangest stuff, or Valiant Thor, or George Van Tassel, all of the early experiencers and the things that went out of Giant Rock, everything that he talked about tonight, these are experiences that have been documented and written about and has been on film for a while. Nothing that he talked about tonight sounded out of out of the ordinary to me, because I've been listening to, if you go back and you listen to Strangest or Van Tassel or Long John Nebel, Kenneth Arnold, all of those, the Shavers interviews from the 50s and 60s, all of this material is familiar to you. Having said that, Raymond Keller being part of this group and part of the Venus contactees is very interesting to me. So we're going to have Raymond on the show. We're going to do this very soon, and he's got these 3 new books out. So there you go. Now this is part of. For me, Deb, and for this audience that may not know about this is like UFO 101. This is where you kind of got to get your feet wet. Yeah, there's Roswell and there's Maury Island and Kenneth Arnold. Yeah, okay, I get that. That is UFO 101. But Giant Rock, Van Tassel, Adamski, all of the Venus contactees, and of course Valiant Thor and Stranger at the Pentagon, all of this stuff is UFO 101, and you really to get your feet on the ground with all of this. I say this to all the youngsters. I do it all the time. You need to, because they want to talk about all this modern stuff. I go, dude, you need to go and check out George Van Tassel. Go, listen, read, find his stuff, look at the pictures, watch some of and go and get into that and everybody that was around that situation, because so much of what we know today goes back to Van Tassel and Giant Rock, and you think about. Just think about this for a second. We talk about contact in the desert, and we talk about these big, UFO Congress or these different conferences around the country where there's 1 or 2 or 3,000 people attending. Giant Rock had 10,000, 15,000 people out there, for 1 year after another, Deb. So that is a big part of where we are from today. So thank you for pointing that out, and you should just go and research. Okay. I will.
And on another note, Terry last night, man, I was on the edge of my seat.
Terry's the best.
I was hoping, I was like, God, I wish the show wouldn't end. And I immediately started going to YouTube and trying to search for him and stuff. What was the name of his book again?
Incident at
Terry's
Devil's
book.
Den.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
okay.
Incident at Devil's Den.
Show.
Thank you so much, Deb. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Jimmy. Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's go to who's this?
The Awakening Man.
The Woke Man. Does the Woke Man have a name?
Eric.
This is Eric. I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed. How are you, man?
You haven't recognized my number by now. I'm doing pretty good. I was kind of a little surprised. I'd never heard Rob speak, and the information he was sharing is. I think you remember I called in. We talked about Bob Short, and then you met Tom Dongo, who introduced me to Bob Short.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to say that, okay, for anyone who's not heard of this type of stuff before, it is, we're talking way old school. We're talking OG old school, right?
That's right.
I mean, we're going back to the 50s. This information first started arising.
Right.
Not a Giant Rock. And here's what was difficult for me. I actually... It got me spun to the point where, I know you mentioned all the Van Tassel videos you've listened and watched, and I'm sure you've done way more research on that. But at some point, you just don't know for sure which way to go. But it's hard to say no, it can't be true. I really buy Van Tassel. I think Van Tassel was telling the truth.
Well, you have to. I do too. I think his experiences were just as he presents them. But there are I can't do this live on the air, but if you go search George Van Tassel and look up some of the videos, there is an interview he does with this TV show, and the guy The host is from Scotland, right? So he's got this thick Scottish thing going on. But that interview with Van Tassel, he's sitting there in his suit, and that interview wasn't about Giant Rock. That interview is about the time machine that he built in Santa Monica, California. And he talks about...
Before the Integratron you're talking about?
No, dude, did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, but
what does the Integratron and Santa Monica have to do with each other? Nothing.
Well,
now stay focused, Eric.
All right. Go ahead.
I just said the interview had nothing to do with Giant Rock. Nothing. Integratron, Joshua Tree. No. He talks about the time machine he built in Santa Monica. He talks about the building. He talks about the technology. He talks about how he recorded. And mind you, this is 60 years ago. Okay, 60 years ago, and he talks about the ability to record events that happened 7 years prior. Can't do 8, could only do 7, but he could go and record anything that happened in the past 7 years and how it's done. And he talks about the formula that was given to him from his good friends from Venus and how the formula is used to build this time machine and record events. It's a mind-blowing matter of fact, and he's just sitting there as intelligent and as well-spoken as anybody that you can imagine. And so you think about what happened out of Giant Rock, and he tells those stories all the time, and you can go and listen to his experiences. There's that, and then there's the Integratron and how that was designed, and then there's this time machine in Santa Monica that was built in downtown Santa Monica. I think he even gives the street and address. I've always wanted to go back and look it up, but anyway, so that's available. So for all of those researchers out there that don't know who George Van Tassel is, or this period of ufology and UFO history, it's all out there, and you can go and listen to George speak. The recordings are there. There's plenty of photographs, and there are newsreel footage out there of different news teams from Los Angeles that are going out, and Palm Springs that are going out to the UFO convention that he did out in the desert each year. There's plenty of that out. It was a huge thing, a big part of pop culture, and it's all there to research. It's a fascinating subject. And the other part, and then I'll let you ask me your next question. The description that Van Tassel gives the first night that the craft landed there in Giant Rock at the airstrip, and how he met, what they said, how he got into the craft, which is very interesting, and then where he flew, what it felt like, what the controls looked like, what the interior of the ship looked like, and his description of that is as solid as anything that I've ever heard. It's incredible. George Van Tassel is a straight up guy. And Howard Hughes was involved. You know, Howard Hughes was flying out to the airstrip to eat his wife's pie. You know, and there's and this stuff. This is all fact. You know, this isn't just some crazy piece of urban legend. No. George Van Tassel, very interesting guy. And what he did before Giant Rock, he worked for Howard Hughes. So, okay, what was your next point? You said number 2.
No, well, okay, so here's what convinced me, okay, all the research I did, I probably stopped after about 3 weeks. My brain was so spun. But then when I went to the Integratron just before contact in the desert, I stayed out there at Landers. And I did the sound bath. And so we're sitting in there, and I know you haven't had the opportunity to do this yet, but I highly recommend you get out there next year. But this guy took this little tiny, whatever it is, a wand or a stick, and just barely rubs it on the outside of this bowl. And the sound, the power, and the vibration of the sound that filled that Integratron literally vibrated, and I'm not exaggerating, vibrated throughout my ears, my whole body. It was bizarre, and I thought, man, this is obviously, this what I'm sitting in here came out of the mind of Van Tassel, or maybe through somebody else's mind and went through Van Tassel. But that was amazing. But what I wanted to also tell you is when I met Bob Short, he actually channeled that Soldando. I believe his name is Soldando. Is that what Rob mentioned? Soldando, the Venusian that came down? Mm-hmm. Okay, so he literally channeled him right in front of me and let me videotape it. So next time I see you out of Soltech, I'll show you that video. But the bottom line is this, I watch these people, I listen to these people, and I'm not saying I don't believe them. I'm not saying I think it's BS. I'm still on the fence a little. I need just a little more. I mean, I love the history, but for what's coming out now with all this information, I just need a little more meat to chew on. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, how are you going to get some more meat to chew on when it happened in 1954, 53, 52?
No, I'm talking about what guys are currently saying with this information that's being and okay, let's put it this way. I looked at some videos that Bob Short did 40, 50 years ago that he recorded, and I found it interesting that a lot of the information and the verbiage and the words and the descriptions and the consciousness, all that language and that verbiage was being used 40, 50 years ago. It's still being used today. Doesn't mean that it wasn't true. It just means that a lot of it's very similar. So I'm just trying, what I say meat is the information that these new guys are coming out with. I love it, but I don't know. I'm not a skeptic, but I am a little bit, I guess is what I'm saying. I need a little more for what I'm hearing now today. I want to see a little bit more than just so-and-so saw this and I've got a witness. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I don't. I mean,
okay. You've seen UFOs in the sky. We were together.
What is it that you want? What is it that you want? You want a selfie with somebody from Zeta Reticuli? I mean, what is it?
I don't know what I want. I don't know. I just feel like I just need to be a little more convinced that.
What would convince you? I don't need convincing.
I'll have to think about that one, Jimmy. Next time I talk to you, I'll have to think on that. I really, like I said, I'm on the fence.
On the fence about what? E.T. visiting this planet?
No. Just the plan with the Venusians and the people living in the Earth and they're waiting. We're not ready yet, and I'm just kind of just paraphrasing a lot of this stuff. They've been coming to. They might save us. They might not save us. I'm being a little sarcastic. I'm just saying that.
See, this is where I've got to go against the grain with you. I love having fun with you. I love having fun. You're a great friend, and if I ever stop messing with you, then you're definitely out of the car. Okay, so you can have comfort in that. But let me say this. When we were out at Contact in the Desert last year, and that blue Z appeared in the sky in front of 250, 300 people, and that blue Z, a blue Z appears in the sky that is miles wide and tall, and pops across the sky, and I witnessed that. And somebody wants to talk to me about inner Earth, and I'm going to call them crazy, I ain't going to do it. I'm not. I just saw what I saw in the sky. And if that is happening, then I cannot close my mind down to anybody's experiences. I'm going to listen. That's it. Just like Billy Carson said on Monday, glass is half full. Don't be the glass is half empty. Bummed out bummer dude. You can't. Can I
be on the fence though? Is it okay to be on the fence? Not one way or the other. You know what I mean? Kind of neutral. Is that okay, you think? Or?
Well, but what I'm saying to you is when you say I need some more convincing, I mean, what is it that you want? You want the ground to open up? You want to fall in? I mean, what?
I'd have to. I totally, obviously, I've seen the UFOs. I saw them with you. I'm totally buy into all of that.
No, what I'm saying to you, Eric, is you're asking to be pushed off the fence. That doesn't change somebody else's experience. You can't discount their experience. You know, so that's it.
And I wouldn't dare do that either.
That's right.
Dare do that.
So that's it. Just listen to them, and whatever happens, happens. But don't say you need to be convinced. Well, I mean, what? You want Atlantis to rise out of the ocean? You want the king of Lemuria to show up in San Luis Obispo and invite you out to dinner? I mean, what?
I guess I need to sit down and have another talk with Emery because maybe he can enlighten me.
That's not going to change. That doesn't change anything. That doesn't change anything, man. I mean, it just doesn't. Listen, have an open mind, and whatever happens in the future happens in the future. You never know. Your next door neighbor may disappear.
To see Bigfoot at Soltech. I just want you to know that Bigfoot is coming to Soltech, and if I have to sleep every day in the woods and meditate and be completely sober the whole time, I'm going to see Bigfoot. I'm determined.
Have you been to ECETI?
No, I'm excited. I'm stoked. I have not been there. I'm excited.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see. After ECETI, I can't wait to hear. I'm still on the fence, man. Still on the fence. No, look. I'm just messing with you. But when somebody comes to me and says, I need to be convinced. I'm just, what is it? What is it that I don't understand? It sounds like you, not you specifically, Eric, but when other people say this, that they're calling BS on people. And you know what? That's wrong. Because you're calling BS on me, too, and the things that I have seen. Dude, I've seen an orb. I've seen an orb. Now, as crazy as that sounds for me to hear me say that, I you know what? And if somebody wants to tell me that they're not real, you know what? I'm on the fence about orbs. I don't care, dude. I don't care.
You made a good point. Okay,
I don't care.
I think I'm coming off the fence. I think I'm climbing under the side.
Well,
I just need you to push me a little bit.
It's just that, Eric, I'm at the point where I just don't give a crap what people think anymore. I don't. I don't. When you go and just these ridiculously fun things happen that are so out of what is supposed to be normal in this world, then you start to realize that, you know what? There are other things, beautiful things about this planet. There's other things going on, and it's not about this 2D existence of getting up and going to work and coming home and paying taxes and then you die. There's so much more, and I love it. I love it. I don't give a crap anymore. I don't, man. I really, really, really don't. I love this planet. There's so much more to just go out there and discover and figure out. So there you go. All right, man. I got to roll, man. Brother. You took me to the credits. All right.
Have a good night. Thanks for my call. Appreciate it.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. You got it.
There you go. Eric, he's now changed his name to Woke Man. I kind of like that. Woke Man. That's almost a T-shirt. Eric Woke Man. Thank you, Rob Potter. Great show. Great conversation. ThePromiseRevealed.com. Faded Black's executive producers, Riddick and Marion. Shows produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboys, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. It's broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can still follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Go over to OnStellar, onstellar.com. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.